For to be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. For the two of us, that is our journey. We've traversed for a year and felt we're committed to serve, and we use this as our motto in our venture and our continued journey. I'm the principal at Prestwich Street Primary School, notoriously known for the massive floats that went off a week ago from the carnival. Many of us have seen little glimpses on television, so that's where we're basically hidden under the bridge in Greenpoint. Contradiction, we housing about 774 learners in one of the most affluent suburbs, probably in the whole of Cape Town. And yet the contradiction where learners have to fight for coming to school 5 o'clock in the morning to get a better education, learners coming to school and they traverse long distances, 14, 15 kilometers to get to a school where parents feel they need to be educated. They traverse time, they traverse space, and they traverse financial gains or losses in their quest for a better education. You can well imagine a learner living in a squalor condition in Khayelitsha, Turf Sands, Delft, Mfuleni, where taxi drivers are virtually killing each other trying to get to school. Getting to school, and in their quest to get to school, they walk through that arcades and see the beauty of richness, of affluence, coming to the school and trying to get a decent education, to be able to make meaning of their lives. For their parents will be deprived of this. So I've been only inducted recently as a principal, only 2 or 3 years as a principal, although I've been almost 28 years in teaching. Traveled abroad, taught at UWC, taught abroad, and came back as one of those suckers, as they would say, back into teaching. So that's where I am.
And I'm retired from UCT. My last position there was as a senior HR practitioner, but after sort of 30-odd years at the university, I did the rounds in various capacities. And what I brought to the partnership was, in total, about 40 years of experience in operational resource and people management, and also on the HR side, a lot of experience with counseling and advising of line managers and staff. I was keen to join the PFP. I heard about the program while I was still working, but I just couldn't see the wood for the trees. I was always in survival mode while I was working, so I'm full of admiration for all the business partners here who have managed to do this alongside a full-time job. So with some freedom on my hands, I was keen to make a contribution to the community that I was part of, and obviously I've had many years associated with the education, so that was a particularly attractive area for me to focus on. And then I really appreciated the way the PFP was structured in terms of training and in terms of the facilitation of one's learning journey. Mahdi?
Why I joined, apart from my brother sitting at the back nagging for 2 years, knowing who Louise is and never meeting Louise, I felt that as a principal, we have very few really inductions becoming a principal. We basically assume that being in the job, you have the experience and you are supposed to be able to deliver. No developmental, with all due respect to our circuit manager here, there's no developmental growth for principals. You put in a position and it's expected for you, of you to run a school, to be able to manage, to be able to be human. And for me, ideally was the opportunity of this possibility that came to my door. And I met this wonderful gentleman. When he walked in my office, I fell in love with him. He's sitting at the back there, Ernest. And he brought me, he said, leave it one alone. I'm bringing you on board now to achieve this possibility. And for me, this formalized training, the time to think, the flawless consulting, it's an amazing program. And why I'm pausing here, I think for our circuit managers, this is a program that principals need to go on. This is the training mechanism for principals to be able to live fruitfully within that borders of the school environment. As I've said, the school is located in the affluent Greenpoint. At the moment, our learner numbers is 774, 56% are female, 85% are black. Our staff is about 30, 83% are female, and 77% are colored. We are financed, obviously, by the department, but through norms and standards, we raise, we supplement. The challenges that we have is translocation, as I said, of learners from a completely distinct situation where they come to a school where there is no parent community. Poverty and dysfunctional family structure is rife. Lack of shared vision and commitment among staff. Those are some of the realities of our school.
I thought you were going to talk to this slide.
As a partnership, what we planned, we looked at a very fruitful program called Transformer Leadership. And we were very ambitious because we thought we could run this over 3-4 days. Through the Partners of Possibility training, we have this vision of this beautiful high ceiling and greenery around us. They brought us into this illusion that this is the only way we are going to learn. So we had this vision of getting our 30 educators trained through this beautiful surrounding, and we felt good and well, but we need 40,000 rand to take them out into to an area. And with all due respect to Adi, 40 years of experience, but no for lose money, as you call it.
And that was even with the facilitator agreeing to do it completely for free. So yeah.
So that was our ambitious task. What came from there is a full day training for the staff eventually, where we actually looked at how we can take 2017 forward. We also looked at co-creating our vision and a common set of core values to develop effective discipline in classroom and cohesion in disciplinary practices. We feel in the four walls of the classroom, the teacher has all the means to make a change and make a difference. And we feel there is where it starts, and there is where we need to make a change. We also, to improve pedagogical classroom management, as well as mathematical and language results, which is a challenge at the school. To increase parental involvement in children's learning in the school, because parents are not, there's no resident community at the school. To intervene more swiftly in removing barriers to learning and sourcing better interdisciplinary support. To introduce graduation ceremonies across grades to affirm all learners and to move away from only academic achievements, and to increase visibility and advisory role of the school governing body, which is a major challenge.
So those were our dreams, and as Mahdi mentioned, they were arguably far too ambitious. So we stumbled, and although this is a celebratory event, it's important to acknowledge, as I think one of the other partnerships did as well, to acknowledge that it's not entirely smooth sailing. So we simply didn't appreciate that, from my side, building a knowledge of the school, and between the two of us building a working relationship, is something, particularly from dissimilar backgrounds, is something that takes time. And that a firm commitment to regular meetings is absolutely key to creating that time together. We sort of started off well, and then we sort of slipped into an arrangement where, well, if there's a need, we'll meet, and it was a disaster. And that precious time that you have together is what builds trust and a willingness to sort of open up and to engage around perhaps personal difficulties that one might be experiencing in terms of one's own ability and one's own frailties, and also on issues that are confidential to the school. And I mean, it's absolutely fair enough that principals are not perhaps ready and willing too early on to simply say, well, here you are. Here are our most private matters for you to sort of get stuck into. So the issue of time and making a real commitment is crucial. Both Mahdi and I feel that. Then there was a lack of resources. Mahdi's explained about this leadership, the Transformer Leadership Program we wanted to implement, but we simply haven't yet found the resources to do it. Then in terms of the demands, because I arguably had very few demands on my time as a retiree, but Mahdi, as all the principals and indeed all the people who are working, have a million demands on their time. So those conflicting priorities, and particularly in a school environment, the crises that just arise out of the blue. And then one of the issues that we had in trying to get the Transformer Leadership Program off the ground is that there were sort of logistical problems. As Mahdi mentioned, we wanted to go away for 2 days, and there were all sorts of concerns around family responsibilities, the staff family responsibilities, and perhaps giving up a couple of days over a weekend or during the school holidays, those sorts of issues. Where we did succeed was we both gained a huge amount from the formal training that was offered. The programs are outstanding. Having access to the community of practice, other principals, other business partners was enormously valuable, and being able to share experiences and hearing their stories. And I've said, I think in one of those COP meetings, how nice it would be if the partnerships could actually grow beyond the business partner and principal to perhaps 4 people or 6 people. I mean, that would seem to add so much greater richness than we already have experienced in the program. Then Mahdi has mentioned some of these things. There was a one-day session with staff, which was at the end of last year, which was held to plan for 2017, and it was extremely productive. There has been increasing use of the regular staff meetings to use those as development opportunities. We have engaged more with the parent community by introducing quarterly workshops, which have been aimed at getting them to support their children's learning, rather than being wrapped over the knuckles, as I gather it might have been in the past, and introducing those graduation ceremonies across the school. And we also undertook an analysis of a fairly careful analysis of the 2016 systemic results in maths and language. And whilst there has been enormous progress at the grade 3 level, there is clearly some work to be done at the grade 6 level. And there were interesting conversations about how that might be achieved. So, where we are heading, having learned from our mistakes, we've realized that being absolutely regular with our meetings is crucial. So, we've committed to meeting monthly going forward. But in addition to that, to have weekly telephone conversations. When we were struggling to meet, we sort of introduced this idea of actually speaking on the phone. And that is helpful because it does allow Makti to raise issues that have cropped up in the moment. You know, even if you meet every month, sometimes the moment passes, and so on. So that's where we're heading. Makti has indicated to me that what he finds useful, particularly useful in the partnership, is being able to just sound things, to use me as a sounding board. And it could be about anything and everything. The value seems to be that I provide an outsider perspective, an independent perspective that is not influenced by what's going on in the day-to-day business of the school. And then we will continue implementing that fabulous plan that we came up with, which we've only just scratched the surface on. And then Makti, I don't know whether you want to...
In terms of heading forward, some of our new ideas is encouraging staff to look at broad educational perspectives so that we can enhance true culture of learning and teaching at the school, to enhancing of team building, facilitating discussion with staff about developmental needs and other concerns that affect the community as a whole, providing further support in particularly our grade 4 classes to improve language and mathematics as well. One of our challenges is that at the school is results and departmental concerns about results-driven issues. So we feel that at the heart of it all is the grade 4s that have been neglected. And we feel if we can bridge that gap between 3 and 4 and strengthen the grade 4s, we will have a better grade 6 and grade 7 class. And then establishing sustainable partnership with schools in the area like Redham, where we have a reading buddy group where some of the matriculants come and read to our younger staff. And then that is life at Prestwich. On your left hand side, just to pause for that, on your left hand side, these 2 girls come to school 6 o'clock in the morning and they expect the principal to be there to receive them. Diligently every morning I need to open up for them and let them sit there and wait for the rest of the school to come. Now coming there at 6 o'clock, you can imagine what time they leave home to come for an education. This is the reality. Those are beautiful future in the middle. They are the ones that Adi was part of for our graduation ceremony, where they will be our future leaders. The workshop on the right hand side that Adi ran, very professionally with regards to our systemic results. And I don't know who's the 2 on the right hand side there. This is the type of support that we have from our parents, very keen parents, very enthusiastic parents. With all the limitations, they want the child to come to school, they want their child to get a better education. And for us, we feel that it's here where we make a difference. If you don't think you have any blessings, remember your heart is still beating. Lending a helping heart towards creating a home away from home for those learners. Thank you very much.